18 years of age. She was born with cystic fibrosis, and she was given a double lung transplant last year, which has just transformed your life, which we're going to hear about now. And sadly, joining Sophie is the family of Leah Davis, who just last summer was killed tragically in a motorbike accident, and they made the incredibly brave decision to donate her organs. And her dad Andy, her mum Mandy, and her identical twin sister Sarah are all here today, and our condolences to you. And in that sadness, and so many people will say this, for someone to benefit, someone has got to lose out, and you are that family that has had to lose out. Is there any consolation, Mum, with that?
Yeah, there is. It brings us a lot of comfort to know that Leah's wishes were carried out because she'd spoke to us about being an organ donor, and that we know that 3 people's lives have been changed for the better because she made that decision.
And did it help? We've often talked here about the importance of talking to your family about your wishes. Did that make it easier? I mean, terrible, of course it's not easy, but did it help you knowing you didn't have to make that decision? You knew that you were following her wishes?
Yeah, it was. It made the decision a no-brainer. It was what Leah's wishes were, and if we wouldn't have had the conversation, we might have sat in that room deliberating what we should do, but because Leah had actually talked to us about it, it made the decision, as hard as it was, but it made it so much easier.
Sarah, she said not just interested, but she was quite passionate about it, wasn't she?
Yeah.
And giving blood as well.
Yeah, we went together a few times, so I know that she would have wanted that. She spoke to me about it.
Andy, tell us about the accident, and how long from the accident to Leah actually dying was there?
Well, Leah's accident happened in July. She was critically injured. She was moved to a specialist hospital, and she was on ITU for 7 days. Her injuries that she sustained, each one of them were life-threatening, and unfortunately she couldn't fight anymore, and she lost the
You were able to communicate with her at all?
No. She
She
didn't regain consciousness after the accident.
And at what point, Mandy, do the medical staff there, the doctors, approach you as a family to say, how do you feel about organ donation, or did they know she was a donor? Had you told them?
Yeah, they did brain scans on Leah because of the extent of her injuries, and they knew that there was no brain activity, so we really didn't have a choice in that we had to turn the ventilator off. But we did have, it was probably about 14 hours between them turning the ventilator off and them finding the recipients for her organs.
And how many of her organs were
there
donated?
There was 3. They were able to use the liver and both of her kidneys.
And the kidneys went to separate
people.
So 3 lives.
Yeah, 3 lives, and that just has brought us in the months after. It's 6 months since Leah passed away. That's brought us comfort, you know.
And was there any dissent when the question of all this came up as a family? Did any of you object? Did any of you?
No, because Leah had aired how she felt about organ donation. It was one that, yeah, this is what Leah wanted, and there was no question about it.
Well, look, let's now look at a living miracle beside you, Sophie Clarke. Sophie, how good is life for you now?
Oh, it's indescribable. Before my transplant, I had got to a critical stage in my health where I was on 24-hour oxygen in a wheelchair, and for hours in a day I was put on an invasive ventilator, which breathed, a machine that breathed for me. So I had a very low quality of life. And
did you know you were dying? Did you?
Yeah, when you're put on the transplant list, you know that this isn't good, that life isn't going well.
And when were you put on the transplant
list? I was
list?
put on the transplant list November 2011, so I was recently 17, and I had my transplant February, so I didn't wait very long at all.
And this is because you suffer with cystic fibrosis, so you know, it was manageable when you were young, it seems, but it was getting more progressively worse and worse.
When I was sick, when I was younger, it wasn't a big deal. It was, but I was in hospital probably 2 weeks a year, and just having intravenous antibiotics, and I just felt the same as any other child till about the age of 13, and then I started to lose a lot of weight, and at the same time my lungs deteriorated slowly, and then at 2011 I got to a stage where my lungs had the function of 15%, which is about the same amount of air I could breathe in as a Coke can.
Your quality of life was really bad. Once you were put on that transplant list, is that all you think about? Every phone call?
Yes. Most times when you're on the transplant list, you get a call in the night time, and so if you hear the call like after 10 o'clock at night, you're just like, right, Harefield, how's the hospital I was at? They're going to call me. And so you don't really adjust to it as much. You want to get on as much as you can, but as you're so ill, you can't really do anything, and you can't go out and distract yourself as much.
And did you have any false alarms?
Yes, I had 3.
3?
Yeah.
What does that do to you?
False alarm is when you get a call saying that there are lungs that are suitable, well, lungs that might be a candidate for you, and you go up to the hospital, you get ready, you get drowned, you get dressed, and then you find out that the lungs aren't suitable, so you have to go all the way back home, you're still sick, and yeah, you go back to waiting.
But eventually you got that call, didn't you?
Yes.
You got the call. Tell us about that night.
Oh, it was 3:15 in the morning, and they call an unknown number, so you know it's them, and you just hear the coordinator, transplant coordinator, say, can you come down to the hospital? We've got some lungs that the surgeons might think are good for you. And so we got to the hospital at about 6 in the morning, and we found out at 8 that they were suitable and I was going to have the transplant. So.
But do they give you any promise when you go in to have these? I mean, do they say, look, we're going to do this and it will work, or we're going to do this and...
Yeah, you don't know, because they have to test the lungs, have numerous tests to see how they are, and you have to be there ready to have the transplant. So you just wait, and then the nurse will come in and say,
now,
no.
you said to me earlier that you had, at your worst, you were down to 15% capacity with your lung. Now, over a year later, what are you like now?
My lung capacity now is 90%.
90.
Amazing.
Brilliant.
And Sophie, you've heard there Mandy and Sarah talking about Leah and how that decision as a family, and obviously the heartbreak that they've suffered losing their beautiful daughter.
Yeah.
What does it mean to you that families like this make that decision, support that decision?
I don't think any person who's had a transplant can express to the true meaning how much it means. I mean, it's just turning one positive, one miracle from a tragedy. And now, thanks to that decision, my loved ones didn't have to see me die. I actually could live on and have a second chance of living. Because I've never been this healthy in all my life, and it's indescribable.
I know, and I know, I mean, you didn't benefit from any of Leah's organs, just make that clear. But I suppose these folk beside you here, it could have been, it's like a community, a family out there, the fact that Leah will always live on through other people.
Oh, yeah, I think about my donor every single day. Just the fact that even though I don't know them, I can still see them as, like, my hero, because they saved my life.
And do you know, Mandy, anything about the people whose Leah's organs went to?
We know that they're all doing really, really well, because I worried quite a lot about them at the very beginning, because I knew that it wasn't as straightforward as just giving them the organ. And as the months have gone by, I know that there's one guy who's got little girls, which is really close to my heart, having daughters, and that his life has been changed. And the 2 people who have got her kidneys have been waiting for a long, long time.
And does that help you a little bit?
It does. And it's meant that Leah, we've always been proud of her for everything she's done, for everything she was and what she was about, but she's just made us even more proud by making that decision.
We remember today, and I know through various fundraising things you'll always remember, she'll always be there. And thank you very much indeed for talking about her today and what she's done. And Sophie, good luck, continued good health to you. Thank you very much indeed.
Thank you.
And we're just going to get reaction to all of this. We go to Stephen in the Hump.
We really have had a massive reaction about ITV's From the Heart campaign that we've been discussing just a moment ago, and indeed all morning. Blossom Newton says, I think organ donation should be law. Think of the lives people would prolong and save. Sarah Johnson, my husband donated his kidney to his auntie. Truly amazing and a selfless thing to do. Carl Towers, I've signed up to donate all my organs when I pass away. I won't need them, so why not? Also, Nicola Staples, Steve Marshall in Reading and Carly Wallace, they've all donated their organs. Why don't you too? See you later.